Bruins Beat is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
And welcome into the Bruins Beat. I am Evan Marinofsky, joined today by friend of the show, recurring guest. This is your second time, Mason Lohrei. Mason, what's up?
Not much. Excited to get the season going here pretty soon. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And the fun part is we're doing this like 30 minutes before the beginning of NFL Sunday on Sunday. And it's an exciting time, but the local football team here is not amazing. So I'd rather be doing this, Mason. I'd much rather be doing this. I know. How was your summer?
Good, really good. Went home early. Went to Wisconsin, where I live, and just kind of hung out there and started training there. I was there for probably a month, and then I went to Culver, where I went to prep school. And it's on a lake for anybody that doesn't know where it is. And I had a bunch of my buddies there. We run in a place, and we'd work out and skate in the morning, and then go golf or play tennis or go surfing on the lake or anything like that. It's like a little paradise there. So nice to be there for a bit. And then I've been back in Boston now for probably a little over a month, training here and getting ready for the season.
Wow. So I didn't know Culver was on a lake. And so you guys, was it like, was it Culver friends that you were renting a house with, or was it just your buddies from home?
Yeah, it was kind of a mix. I've grown up like every summer going there to Culver, so I have a lot of close friends there. But I had a lot of my Ohio State friends that are now playing pro came. So we were all staying together and training together. I think there was, at one point we had like 12 guys in the house or 11 or something like that. But typically it was like somewhere between 6 and 8. Guys were coming in and out all summer, but it was a blast. Really fun just to, see those guys that I didn't get to see much last year and spend time with them and, be on the ice in the weight room.
On a lake too. I can't get
unbelievable.
That's a picturesque summer. You said surfing though? How does surfing on a lake work?
Wake surfing. So it's behind the boat. Yeah, the boat makes the wave and it pulls you along.
That's awesome. I am curious. You have the lake there. Are you a lake guy, a pool guy, an ocean guy? Like, what's your
lake? 100%. Yeah,
lake,
not the ocean. Not an ocean
really?
guy. No, I'll go fishing. I'll go fishing, but I'm not a big lay on the beach and get sand everywhere. No, that's not me. The lake's
That is
perfect.
exactly me. Yeah, that is exactly me. I like lakes too. Lakes are awesome. Lakes for boating and stuff like that is peak. But I don't know. There's something about just laying on. That sounds like a country song, but just laying on the beach and just like toes in the sand. It's just in the water. I love it. Wave, body surfing waves. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm a little too pale.
But you're here now. You're here. We got a lot of. I am too. It's okay. You gotta just go right in. But you know what? You're here now with the ocean here, so you'll be an ocean guy hopefully in no time. On the ice, I'm curious. So one thing, as editor doing a hockey journal, I always get asked by parents, how much should kids be skating in the summer? And that's such a big topic. No one really knows the right answer. I think it's kind of different for everybody. What was it for you growing up, and what is it now?
Yeah, so growing up, like I said, I'd be there in Culver. There's a summer camp there, and my dad used to run the rink because there's skating classes and hockey classes and stuff like that. So he was a director there. So I was there every summer at the rink every day. And, obviously I loved it growing up. So I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go and there was a hockey class, so I'd skate in the hockey class, and then all day long there's skating classes. So I'd take my gear off and then I'd just go wheel around, just like no stick, no pucks, just like skating around. And then at lunch we'd actually like practice, and then that was kind of it. Then we'd go on the lake or do something. But I probably skated, almost every day in the summer when I was younger and growing up and stuff. But obviously I was fortunate enough to have a place that I could skate every day for free. and I loved it so much that, it was just like something to do for fun. Um, Now, I think, I don't know. I've never really liked taking a lot of time off. I love being on the ice, whether it's just messing around and playing 3-on-3 or sticking puck with my buddies. But I probably skate. I mean, actually like train on the ice pretty much 4 times a week all summer long, and then ramp
Mhm.
it up. Like now, this time of year, try and get out there 5 times a week. Um, but I mean, I'm still going out there, and we go to the rink at night in the summer, and we just play stick and puck, like just wearing skates and gloves and your stick. That's it. So just go for fun.
Yeah, it's funny. I always see like some of the best players in the NHL and coming up through you 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like it's sort of that time alone on the ice. It's that time where you're just dangling, and you're just playing with the puck and you're skating around. I think that kind of has some of the biggest impacts. And for you, I maybe I've asked you this before. I don't remember. I don't think I have. Obviously, you're a tall guy and you're a great skater for someone of your size. Like when did you how important was it that you kind of always had that focus on skating? um and I know it sounds cliche, but like I don't think people realize like there are a lot of kids who come up who don't put a lot of emphasis on skating, who aren't
Hmm.
the greatest skaters. You are not that. When did that sort of come into play for you, and did you ever have like a big growth spurt?
Yeah, I think I was always like probably just an average skater growing up, like just fit in out there. Um, and then I grew, I don't know, probably like into my freshman and sophomore year. Like I probably grew 7 inches, something like
Whoa.
that.
That's
And
wild.
I remember my first year going to Culver, I was still playing forward, and I think probably, I mean, part of the reason that I was just getting scratched and stuff and didn't play a ton, and part of that reason is definitely my skating. Um, I mean, after growing so much, just wasn't a very powerful skater. I like stood up a lot, didn't have like the greatest knee bend or any of that stuff. So, but once I switched to D, and then I mean my coaches there at prep school in Culver, where I mean they're both got to be the biggest. I mean they were the biggest help in terms of my skating. One of them had
Mhm.
me. I was on the slide board all the time. Had the video out, on the ice before practice, after practice, working on stuff. And then the other one was all like edge work and just kind of like fundamentals of it too. So I think that like those couple years that I was there, I really focused on skating and edge work stuff, and that I mean that made such a big difference in my game.
Yeah, I always find it interesting because I always do see kids at that freshman sophomore level who grow really fast, and then it's like holy crap! Like my legs are different, my body is different now, and it does take a while. It can take a
Hmm.
while, obviously, to sort of catch up to that. Nowadays, this past summer for you, like with the Bruins, what were they sort of advising you on things to work on this summer? What did you focus on?
Yeah, definitely just keep filling out my body, getting stronger, faster, like first 3 steps sort of thing. I've talked about that a lot.
Hmm.
Just trying to become more explosive. There's not a ton of time and space out there, so the more explosive you can be, the more space you can create for yourself to try and buy some time and make more plays. So that was definitely a big one. Is just sprints and agility and stuff like that. And then obviously strength is a huge part of that. So just getting stronger was number one, and then just continuing to work on every part of my game. From I'm out there working on skating and edge work, still doing all the same drills that I used to do in high school for that stuff, and then um, yeah, just everything. I mean, try and try and keep improving as best I can.
PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. One Caleb Williams passing yard gets you one win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, your picks are still live. Big questions going into the football season. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for more or less than 267.5 yards one week? Will Jalen Hurts throw for 240.5 passing yards another? Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, back to the show. When you got called up last year and you were with the Bruins for, a while, was there anything that surprised you about NHL forwards? Was there any big difference? Were there things that you saw them do or anything stick out to you where, it was like, okay, this is different or not so much?
Yeah, a lot of them are. I think the biggest thing is like they're just so smart, and they come so hard on the forecheck, and they're all like, for the most part, everybody's so good at like playing defense and taking the right angle and taking away time and space. So just matter like you don't get away with, especially early on, like when you don't know, right? You don't get away with some things that you think you will, whether it's an escape move or something. So that was probably the biggest thing. Is just it really like kind of forced me to move pucks quicker, and obviously you learn, and you learn how to read and hopefully beat the forechecker, whether it's with a pass or you're skating or whatever it is. But that was definitely it, like how good defensively and how smart they all are.
When you got called up last year against Toronto, in the regular season, that first game, prime time game, what was that like going into it? Were you nervous? Was it almost too did it happen so fast that you didn't really have time to process it? What was that kind of lead up to that first NHL game like?
It's kind of just surreal, like it's all happening and you're taking it all in because everything's a first, right? And then obviously I was nervous. I get nervous before every game, but that's one that definitely get a little more nervous for. But once I got out there and after the anthem and got my first puck touch, made my first pass, it was like I was into it. It was just hockey after that. And it was, definitely a night I'll never forget. It was so incredible, just having my family and friends there, and for it to be at home against the Leafs too. Like it's pretty cool way to have your first one.
What was it? I'm so curious because like that is such a wild lead up, and because you get called up quick, you're right in the lineup. When you go out on that ice and you see the crowd, and I know you've obviously had it for preseason games, but regular season is a completely different animal. Like, what's that like when you first come out of the tunnel out for warmups? Like, what was that like?
It's just, you can't help but look up to the roof and just see all the people there and the towels and the flags that are out. Like it's just, it's honestly the coolest thing ever. just to be able to be out there for the first time and kind of soak that in. It was just so special.
That first regular season game, did you get any good advice prior to that game on how to handle it? Did anybody reach out with any words or not really?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of guys that just play. You're here for a reason. You've earned this. You don't have to be someone you're not. Go out there and play your game. Maybe be simple early might have been a tip, but I think I was probably going to do that anyway, with it being my first game. So, but we have such a great leadership group, and everybody kind of had something to say that they try to ease your nerves a little bit, but that's tough to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say the nerves don't go away until you first, as you said, that first puck touch, that first pass. I think it was your first game. Yeah, I think it was. You went or it might have been later in this. It was definitely later in the season. It was, because I'm thinking you went after a guy. I think it was on the Leafs, if memory serves. I think you went after Ryan Reeves on a play, and Pat Maroon was right there, which is why I know now it was not open. It wasn't your first game, but I got a kick out of that. I was like, you know what? Good for him. Go right in, dive right in. And obviously, what's funny to me is, when the playoffs came around and you were called up for game 3, you dove right in and it looked seamless. You were jumping into plays, which is not abnormal for you. That's, you're a former forward. We see that all the time. What was the mindset going into the playoffs? Because there were plays that it wasn't just simple. It was, hey, I'm going to enter the zone myself. I'm going to jump into the offense. I'm going to, make a move. What was sort of your mindset going into the playoffs?
I'd gotten sent down at the end of the regular season, and I knew there was definitely a chance of getting called up for the playoffs. So when I did, it was just kind of like, hey, Stanley Cup playoffs, that's what you're dreaming about your entire life. Series was 1-1 going into game 3, and I was just like, I'm going to go out there and just play the game and try and make an impact and just roll with it and see what happens. And that's kind of got out there, and you get the nerves off, and then it's like I said, it's just hockey, and you start playing well, and you just start gaining confidence, and then as kind of the series goes on, I felt good, and then you start hearing things from whether it's your teammates telling you, or if it's Monty, just saying the kind of the impact that I had, and that I can make a difference out there, and you realize your position, and what you can do for the team, and I think that was just huge for on the confidence side of things, and you just keep rolling with it.
Fall is beginning, which means football is back. Nothing beats a college football atmosphere, and with both college and NFL games, who doesn't love a good tailgate? Get to the game with Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. This fall, my friends and I are going to the Patriots-Titans game in Tennessee. And how will we get tickets for the game? Game Time, of course. The super deal has been amazing to us in the past, and there's no doubt it will be great to us again. I just love the curated deals, which make it easier to find the best price on great seats. Some other features I love are the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. So, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, back to the show. Where does that confidence come from? I know, obviously, I know, but when you're going into a situation like that, playoffs, you've never been in the playoffs before, that confidence, it's funny because I don't know if you remember this, but probably like 11 years ago now. Torrey Krug came up for his first playoff appearance, and he scored like 4 goals in 5 games, and it was a crazy breakout. But yours was interesting because it was just constant. It felt like there were chances all the time, and there was so much offense, that confidence. And I know that's a big part of your game, but in the playoffs, like, how do you kind of generate that and say, no, it doesn't matter that it's my first playoff series. Like, I'm going to do the exact same thing I've always done. Like, how does that come about?
I think it's the best time of year, and when the stakes are higher, I think I just go out there and play freely and just try and rise to the occasion, I guess. So, just getting out there, and like I said, like, you're nervous, but as soon as you get that first puck touch and you're into the game, it's not like you don't really think about it. It's just hockey. I'm trying to find guys on our team and make plays, and you're not really worried about anything else. So you kind of just get into like a little flow state, and I don't know, it just feels good.
It just happens, and hey, if it works, it works. I'm also curious. Like, you mentioned getting sent down to Providence. You also got sent down mid-season. What did you learn down there, and how much motivation was that for you to want to come back up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously bouncing back and forth a little bit during the year, up and down, is, I don't know. It's like, looking back on the year, it's like, wow, like I'm really appreciative for the way it went and the experiences that I had, because I think it just makes me, obviously, just makes me a better person and a better player to just understand that. That's the first time I got sent down, like right after camp, being the last guy sent down. Obviously, it's tough. Like, I felt like I did camp and wanted to make the team and stuff. And then you get sent down, and I don't know. I mean, it sucks, right? But you just got to show up every day and work hard. And that was kind of when I started thinking, just like day by day, every day throughout this last year, like, that's all you can do is show up and do what you can on that day to have fun and try and improve your game any way you can. So, definitely an experience that I'm glad that I had, going up and down.
Down in Providence with head coach Ryan Muginel and that staff, what were the big points of emphasis they had with you while they had you?
Just closing hard, defending, shutting down the rush, being physical, all that stuff. And then kind of on the offensive side, just like making the quick play, making the easy play, simple play, and then joining and using my skills. Like, they're just like the risk versus reward thing. You can't hit a home run every time, but it's knowing when to go for it versus when not to.
So now you've been a pro for a full year. Not a vet quite yet, but you're getting there.
Not even close.
It'll happen. It'll happen. What is one thing or multiple things that have either surprised you about being a pro, or that might kind of shock fans, or not shock, but surprise fans about, what goes into being a pro, what life is like as a pro?
I think the first thing was first preseason game I got to play. We jump on the plane. We're coming back from New York, I think, or coming back from Buffalo. And I look at the menu, and there's filet mignon on our chartered plane. As I'm sitting back, kicking my feet up, I was like, "Holy, this is pretty sick." But then I guess another part, more hockey related, is just how, I don't know. It was nice to see how loose even the best players in the world can keep it, and how they can joke around and in serious, they can joke around at practice and whatever, but then they go to work and they're the hardest working guy out there. And I don't know, it's something that for me, just being able to see that and then kind of learn how to be like that myself. It's a long year, right? So being able to keep it loose as much as possible is just good for the team and then for yourself.
Yeah, it always fascinates me when you see the best players in the world in like warm-ups, just, dangling around with a puck, having fun, joking around. And then,
Yeah.
10 minutes later, it's just complete go time.
Yeah,
I've
like
always found that to be
Marshy can
fascinating.
joke around and then literally is the most intense guy out there. And it's just like
Yeah.
push of a button, it just switches. Which is, I mean, that's why he's the ultimate pro.
Yeah. He's captain for a reason, 100%. And I think that, and also, for you, like, I think it's, as you've said, it's good for younger guys to see that, where it's like, oh, I can have fun. I can have fun with this. And then when the puck drops, it's all go time. For you, when you're on the road, have you found like a go-to activity that's kind of your thing in each road city, or not quite yet?
I mean, Beecher, Patra, and I, we get dinner pretty much every trip. So that's probably just the the activity that we do, and then not really doing too much else. Off days, we went ski shooting in Dallas, in Florida. Like you get to go on the beach and hang out that way. But no, I mean I think one of my favorite things about being on the road is just all the great restaurants that we get to eat at. It's you get in and go to your room, drop your bags off, change, and then meet up with the boys, and you're always going somewhere pretty nice. And it's just cool to you're in a different city almost every night, so it's cool to find different spots, and that's got to be my favorite part, just spending time with the guys and eating good food.
And you're lucky because playing in Boston, being in Boston over half the year, you get great restaurants here too. So it's like, oh, you get the best of both worlds. You're not in a bad culinary city. You're in a pretty good one. Yeah, I'm always fascinated by how guys kind of pass the time on the road. I don't know if you ever read the book The Game by Ken Dryden. I read it this summer, and it's sort of his life in hockey. It kind of goes through his, he kind of diaries like a whole season, and he's talking about life on the road and things like that. And that was in the 80s. And I found that so interesting. And it was just kind of a different perspective than I'd ever read before or seen or heard. But that's so interesting. Do you have a favorite road city yet or no?
I don't know.
Florida's got to be pretty high up there.
Yeah, I like Florida. Florida's cool, but I'd probably say I really enjoyed Dallas. I don't know if that's good. It's like that was my first trip was we went Detroit and then right to Dallas where we had an off day, and I don't know. I enjoyed Dallas, and then I enjoyed like Vegas is so cool, especially like you're just going for like 2 days, right? So just to like be there, it's like you're in a movie for for a couple days. Trying to think. Nashville's sweet. Those are probably my top 3 right now. But we'll see. We'll see how that changes.
And Utah this year, you'll get to go to Salt Lake. So there you go. Maybe ski a little bit while you're out there. Obviously, you will not.
Probably not, but
someday, someday maybe. Going into this year, obviously training camp right around the corner. Going into last year, that was your first camp. This is obviously your second. Is your outlook different at all going into this camp than it was last year?
Definitely different. A lot of the same. I mean, you got to earn it, right? So, still want to go out there and prove not just that I can play in the NHL, but prove that I can be a nightly player, play 82 games, and really just make an impact every night. So that's kind of what I do, is just show that I can be just a relied upon guy that can go out there and hopefully play all situations. So I'm really excited to get out there and just continue to I don't know, prove who I am as a player.
It's a good mindset. It's a good mindset to have. I think we've covered everything, because on the first time you came on, we did like your whole childhood. We did your whole time up to now. So if people want to go listen to that, they can do that. But Mason, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I'm curious to hear the road cities as you go to new ones where they all rank. But I really appreciate you taking the time, Mason, and best of luck this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Evan.
Of course. And that's been this week's Bruins Beat. You Bruins Beat listeners, have a great rest of your week.